If you're filing a simple 1040 easy, you have income, you're not doing any itemizing, you're not doing anything wacky, you don't own your own business. A lot of folks actually do their own taxes these days. If it's a little more complicated, you're going to want to think about a commercial tax preparer. And you have a couple of different options when it comes to tax preparers in terms of what services to use. There's what a lot of folks refer to as retail preparers, or kind of your big box preparers, and those are the names that you know, the offices that you see that kind of pop up every spring. Nothing wrong with using those kinds of services. However, if you have any special circumstances or specific things that apply to you, or if you have ongoing concerns, because the IRS doesn't just ask you questions, say on an audit from January to June, it's not a bad idea, and I actually highly recommend that you use a tax preparer that's around year-round. The question always comes up then, how do I figure out who that is? I think one of the most important things to do is to ask your friends who they use. Ask your attorney, ask your insurance advisor, ask your broker who they recommend. My second piece of advice is going to be to definitely do your research. You should check, for example, to make sure that the person that you're using is qualified, that they've done this before, that if they are required to be licensed in the jurisdiction where you are, that they are in fact licensed, because you want to make sure if there's a problem with your return that you can say that you've done your due diligence and that you expected that the person knew what they were doing. Another piece of advice is to give that person a call and see if you feel comfortable with them. You want to make sure that you feel comfortable sharing and that you feel comfortable with the advice that they're giving you. If somebody doesn't return your phone calls, if someone's really gruff with you, if someone's really condescending, this is probably not somebody you want an ongoing relationship with. So trust your gut. It makes no sense to use someone even if they're highly recommended if you don't feel like you can talk to them. You want to also think about geography and jurisdiction. It's really important, especially if you live in a city or a state that has very specific rules, that your preparer understand what those rules are. And you want to make sure that if you have any kind of special circumstances, if you have foreign accounts, if you have interest in partnerships, if you're receiving money from an estate, that you work with somebody who knows what those tax consequences are and can actually do your return. Because there's also nothing worse than paying a few $100s for a return and then having to pay a few $100s more or even a few $1,000s more to fix it because it wasn't done right the first time.